Esports betting, does it live up to the hype?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here on a Thursday morning after probably a very heavy few days at Sigma. I hope you still have some energy left to go through this last day. So thank you for your attention and thank you all for being here. My name is Michele and I'll be the moderator of this very distinguished panel. So to start off with, the topic at hand is, does esports betting still live up to the hype? 5-10 years ago, when online esports betting started happening, I remember most of my friends in esports saying that, you know, there's free money available on online sports books offering esports. No one knows what they're doing. They just offer odds they don't understand, and everyone's making free money. Does that still happen nowadays? Well, I think we're here to find out. And also, over the past few years, we've seen perhaps a big shift in esports. We've heard bombastic numbers. We've heard very claims, wide claims that perhaps the industry is, going to overtake traditional sports and all that. I think we've come to a sobering reality nowadays, where things have calmed down a bit. Things have we see a bit more kind of the reality playing in. So nowadays, after all that hype has died down, we can understand maybe a bit better what we're playing with ultimately. So to start off with, I'd like to get all our panelists to introduce themselves. Juana, would you like to start?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great pleasure. Many thanks, Michele. So I'm Juana Bischoff, and I work in business development at Odin.gg. Odin is a B2B provider for esports odds. We also do risk management. We have an iframe solution. We have widgets. And we're also the global leader in this niche. And it's a really great pleasure to be here on stage with you, Michele, with Glenn, and also with Sergey, because that esports is an essential part of Sigma also shows how important it is. And I'm personally very happy to see this development because, as you mentioned previously, it grew really, really heavily.
Glenn?
Hi, I'm Glenn. I work at Betsson as an esports and European sports trading manager. We've seen the growth of esports in our company in the last few years. We went from having a few events on site to being a leader in the online gambling system. We try to have as much variety as possible because that is what attracts customers. Everyone has his favorite game and everyone has his favorite team. So the moment that the team is playing, the fans are like in the traditional sports, wherever your team plays, you bet on your team because it's something from the heart.
Sergey?
Hi, I'm Sergey. I'm CEO of Eden Esports. Eden Esports is a traditional tournament operator. So in the esport betting chain, we are that first link that organize events, generate the data, and generate the video feeds, which are further being pushed to data processing parties or directly to the betting operators.
All right. And since your introduction was the shortest, I'll put you on the hot seat first. So why is esports betting still worth pursuing nowadays?
Oh, well, where to start from? So I think, first of all, we all need to admit that esports has found its niche, has earned its place in the betting. I think it filled the gap which was in the market. First of all, that's 24/7 content. It's 365 days a year. You can even have the games to bet on Christmas Eve, and that's absolutely fine. Secondary, it's based on the video game, so the data there is very rich, it's very granular, and you can have a lot of live markets to work with. I like traditional sport. And the third, I think the audience. Keep in mind I think there was a stats released in 2022 or 2023 that among millennials, you have 42% of the audience interested in traditional sport, and when it comes down to Gen Z, it's already 23. That's like a significant drop. So 2 generations of gamers from 18 to 35, they had to be served with the content. And esport betting is there, I think, to stay and just to get more mature and grow.
On what Sergey just said, Glenn, a few years ago I heard a statistic that esports accounted to one of like the top 7 sports on which people bet on. At Betsson, how do you see this? Is it still a popular market?
Yes, it grew to be one of our top 5 now, depending on what's going on. When there is the break, obviously numbers go down, but as Sergey well said, it's 24/7. If there is no football, there is football content that is a video game. If the World Cup now, the introduction of the Esports World Cup in Saudis, it grew. The League of Legends Worlds, we saw 6.5 million viewers at peak. The potential is still there, and as following on Sergey, the generation that is coming up is a gamer generation.
Juana?
And I would like to add to this, when we look at the gamers out there, right, there are 3 billion gamers worldwide. And when we look at the esports revenue, it's projected to be at 24 billion in 2026. So this is huge. And also what Glenn mentioned, I would like to repeat this. For Betsson, it is under their top 5. I remember years ago when I had these conversations with operators and I told them, okay, look, esports will be definitely under the top 5. Sometimes it's even under the top 3, right? And people were looking at me like, nah, Juana, I don't know. Maybe, this is just a thing and it will go away. No, it will not go away. And now when I put myself into the position as an operator, what is important for you as an operator? You want to secure revenue, you want to grow, and you want to have new clients, right? So this is what you need to have on your strategic agenda, because we are talking about a new audience that you can target. And they don't cannibalize with other verticals because they are not interested in traditional sports. They love their esports.
Thank you, Juana. And on this topic, I mean, we mentioned new audiences, we mentioned esports-specific audiences, but what about people who bet on Betsson specifically? Do they shift over to the esports product if they're normally, more football bettors?
Yes, what they do is they go on the FIFA side, so not the traditional esports, because it's, as Dinos mentioned, fast, thrilling, and it's still the concept of football. So we see that change from the customers.
And what's the experience that a traditional bettor would find appealing in esports that you as Betsson would offer them?
We offer a vast variety of offer. We try to be creative and try to reach out to the different titles that appeal to different people.
So the streaming elements, statistics?
Streaming, statistics, and all the stuff that will put a gamer there to analyze, because most gamers do like analyzing stuff, and place his bet according to the statistics and past occurrences.
All right, thank you. Juana, so from your perspective, what is the standard esports bettor? What do they look like?
That's a very good question, Michele. So when we look at I would say the traditional esports bettor, right? First, it is really different compared to traditional sports. The average age of an esports bettor is 25, okay? When we compare this to a basketball or football, basketball is 33, football is 35. So now we look at esports and you have the average age of 25. Now imagine if you do your job right, you can keep this client for the next 20 years, next 30 years, next 40 years. And what's also important for them is that they heavily need a really good live betting experience, because 80% of the esports revenue is coming from live betting. So this is why it is crucial to have that.
All right. And Sergey, I feel like you're itching to say something. So what's your relationship as Eden with a betting provider?
Oh, it splits into, I would say, two areas. Well, the first one is obviously marketing. So when the betting operator works directly with a tournament organizer, it gets access to advertise directly to the consumer, the targeted consumer. Also, if you do it smart, for example, something as award-winning on Sigma events of Pinnacle that they did last year, they made a very nice target with a title being bought there as well. So you would even advertise your event on other betting websites because they can't change the name. It's still Pinnacle Cup. Plus, there is a very rich inventory in the esports. So there is plenty of ways you can schedule your marketing, schedule your campaigns, hit the right timing with the event and the right territory that you operate in. And the second big area is exclusivity of data. If you go this way, you are the first to get the data, you're the first to get the video feeds, so you can get an advantage and make your betting more efficient.
All right. And speaking of data, then, Juana, from your perspective, do you have relationships with events organizers for you to get this exclusive access to data and rich data so that you can provide your customers with the best possible tools?
Yeah, absolutely. This is what we have. We work with data providers. We also acquire our own data so that we can cater exactly what Sergey mentioned.
All right. As Betsson, kind of if you had to give someone advice on, well, not competitors, of course, but if you wanted to access this market, what would be your recommendations?
So first of all, you need to see which market you're gonna go in, which geo market. If you're going to go LATAM, they have a specific sports title that I will not share here to bet on. If you go on CECA, it's another title. So first you need to do the scouting of which region you want to play on. Then you need to find either a good provider or a good set of traders that will give the offer that is needed and make the offer as appealing and as intriguing as possible. Fast markets, as we said, vast offer, that's it, I mean.
And I would like to add to this, what is really crucial is when an esports bettor wants to place a bet and they go to your site, but they don't find what they're looking for, they go away, right? So this is really essential that they enter your site, they see, okay, esports betting, they go there, and that there is a really good live offering, that there is streaming, that you have statistics for pre-match, for live, and that you also have new products, new ideas. We just launched the Bet Builder, and I think in traditional sports, the results are already great, and maybe Glenn can comment on that.
Yes, for traditional sports, Betsson saw a big improvement in Bet Builder, even from customers' point of view. They are more likely to play a Bet Builder because it gives you a sense of challenge, because you're not just playing who's going to win the match, but you're trying to find different points in the game that will get you more money, actually.
All right. And from a marketing angle, how would you go about navigating? There's this misconception that because esports is video games, we're talking about kids, people of young ages playing Fortnite and Roblox. Is that reality? How do you approach marketing to avoid these pitfalls? And yeah.
I'm super happy that you're coming up with this question, because this is a question that I get a lot when I'm on panels, specifically from the regulator, right? And it's not that we're talking about kids, right? when we look at specific esports titles, let's take Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike exists for decades already, right? So youngsters at 15, they're now 35, 40. So we are not talking about kids anymore, right? Because these are established titles and they exist for a very long time. And it's not that the kids are playing in the basement. We're talking about very professional esports, and event organizers, they have these great opportunities. And maybe, Sergey, you can comment on that one as well.
Yes, well, I shall add that there is still a big movement among the youngsters, and they're trying to join the big race as soon as possible. And the current limit for them is 16. And that's the lowest rate that is possible to play esports right now on the professional level. And then it goes, with 18, you're free to do that. And there are regulations, there are like strict rules on that. But they look all the broadcasts, they watch it, they dream to be there. So it's still important to take care of that area because we know that they are watching, they are looking, and we need to be careful with how we advertise and what we do. Because yes, they are future customers with an average rate of 25, but we catch them very young. So we need to be careful about it as well.
And I would like that it's important to have a good verification process when it comes to a betting site. You need to make sure that no kids are harmed. That we at Betsson have one of the the best practice, because we have awards for this, and we try our best and we never had incidents that we have someone underage playing on us.
All right. And speaking of that, so as an esports operator, normally we've seen a lot of esports books, let's call them that are a very specific brand targeted specifically towards esports bettors, right? But Betsson hasn't gone down that route. So Betsson hasn't gone down the route of other sports books that created a brand specifically for esports. You still use your regular brands that you use for all your sports. What makes Betsson, what distinguishes you as Betsson in terms of your esports offer, and how do you make it the best user experience possible?
What we love to do is we have a team of very passionate traders, so they play themselves, they analyze markets that are not available and push to create these markets. We give the opportunity to our traders to be very creative, and a creative trader will come up with a market that is new and it will bring customers that will see the markets, basically.
Okay. And perhaps one last question to all of you. Another thing that regulators are always kind of wary of is integrity, so potential match fixing. And we've seen a few situations in perhaps lower level competitions where there were integrity issues. How do you use data? Perhaps, Juana, you can start with you. How do you use data to discover these situations and make sure to protect both the operator and also the customer?
I love the question. Thank you. Because this is also, this question is always coming, right? And this question always raises a lot of concerns. So from our perspective as a provider, we also have a very strong risk management. And many of our clients, they benefit from our risk management. That means we see all the incoming bets, right? And there are a lot of tickets, I can tell you. And if there is something suspicious, of course, the team looks into the data, they analyze the data. And if there is something where we think, okay, there might be something happening, then we send this, or we send our findings to the organizers, to the publishers, and that also led in the past that players were banned because of that. So we do our homework because at first we would like to support the whole ecosystem and we want to protect our customers.
I would add to that the role of a data processing party between the tournament operator and the betting operator is very crucial, They are the aggregating point for the data, so they can really flag when something is wrong, and that's an immediate flag for the tournament operator to look into the specific game, specific match, specific player, and to take action, because it damaged the whole industry. And what's been done in the recent, let's say, 5 years in that area is like impressive. We're receiving flags in like sometimes minutes after something happens, and that's that's really great. That helps to make this industry like more healthy.
Okay. Our time is up, actually. Are there any last comments that you would like to close off this panel with? Perhaps you, Juana. Would you like to...
Well, for me, I'm extremely happy that we had the opportunity to share knowledge and also experience. And for the future, esports will grow even more. I'm not saying that it will become top one, right? In my imagination, yes, it should be. It deserves to be there. But it will be definitely, it will have a huge impact on every operator. And if you want to have strategic growth, revenue growth, customer base growth, esports should be part of your agenda.
Well, as I said earlier, esports has earned its place and it's here to grow. So I believe that if you're not in esports yet, you're definitely missing out. If you are in esports and it didn't work for you, you just picked the wrong partner and you need to find the right party to play with. But it is definitely there for a long time.
What I would like to add is that esports is not just 5 or 10 guys playing video games. It is a culture nowadays. It will grow, and it's the right time to invest in esports as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you have a rest of a productive conference. I'm sure my fellow panelists will be available for any future questions after the panel, and thank you for listening.
Thank you to you, Michele, and to your panel. Thank you.